All right, welcome to Creator Hardware, and today we're going to talk about planning your next server build or your first server build. First things first, you got to figure out what you're going to do with your server, what its purpose, how much storage you're going to need, how much connectivity you're going to need, a lot of factors. After you have those answers, then you start looking at hardware, cases, etc. So let's talk about some of the stuff you're going to run into that may kind of, cost you extra money and, delay your fun project. First off, let's talk about the box you're going to put it in. Now, this is something a lot of people choose prematurely, in my opinion. You should be looking at your use case, not really the case you're going to put it in. Once you've decided your use case, that's when you go ahead and pick out the case that'll best serve your needs. And this is really true for depending on your use case, whether you're building a TrueNAS server or a Plex server or Unraid server or, a virtualization server. You need to look specifically at your uses. Like for instance, do you need hot swap bays? Do you want to come in here and be able to hot swap hard drives? Now, I don't actually recommend ever hot swapping a drive. You want access to your drives, or do you not care? That's a really important thing when choosing a case. Do you care about the rack units, how much space you have? Now, unfortunately for me, I have a short rack and I'm not upgrading anytime soon, so I've got to be very conscious about the rack units I use. Now, I'm going to use this server as an example because this is part of my infrastructure. This will be replacing or technically an upgrade for my Unraid server. And my deployment of this has to be as seamless as possible because I use my Unraid server all the time. Not for Plex or anything like that, but for video storage, using archival footage in videos, etc. for my channels. And so I have to make sure everything goes right. So it's really important. Now let's talk processors and motherboards. Now this is something we'd all love to go out and get, epic Genoas and Supermicro motherboards and build with all the toys. Well, budget doesn't usually allow that. Budgets really go up, and that's something that's really important to consider on your server build is, can you afford it? Not judging it whether or not you can or can't. Is it worth it for you? For me, no, it's not really worth it for me to go to an epic Genoa or anything like that because it's an Unraid server for this example. It literally is going to send files across an HBA through a 10 gig card that my limiting factor is going to be my drives. So it's really important when you're doing that, you keep budget in mind because it's easy to blow out the budget just on wants. Important factor in choosing your hardware is PCI lanes. And that's one of the great things about Epic, that they're PCI switches. Consumer grade hardware definitely is limited on PCI lanes. I found out in my server, if I had 2 SSDs in that server, one of my 16 slots did not work. Well, I needed that 16 slot for an LSI card, so I had to remove one of my cache drives, which wasn't too big of a deal, but it did affect that server long-term because I didn't have enough PCI lanes. Limiting of the board, less so of the CPU. So it's really important when considering your platform that you consider PCI lanes. For instance, a lot of Intel boards, you use the Gen 5 slot for the M.2, you lose PCI lanes because that is direct off of the CPU. So it's really important you look at your manual and determine your PCI lane allocation and know what you're going to be able to do. Now, on this particular board, I'm only going to use the 8X slot and the 16X slot, and really, I don't even need that, but I don't need the 1X slot, and I'm only going to transfer over one SSD, so I'll be fine on PCI lanes. Now let's talk minutia, the stuff that'll get you in trouble. For instance, this server has these very, very loud fans that will have to be swapped out for me. I'll swap them out with some Noctuas or some Be Quiets and quiet down my server, because my server is right behind where I film and I can't have it screaming. Really important thing to consider is you get your case in. Are your fans going to be too loud for your situation? Are you going to put it in a garage where it doesn't matter? Or are you going to be putting it next to your desk where it will annoy the snot out of you if they're loud? I can't have that. I film, I work, so got to swap out the fans. Now, a couple other considerations that a lot of people don't consider. Getting an LSI card that will connect to 12 of them in a 1U chassis is a little difficult. So I actually had to go out and get a LSI card that is mini SAS and 4 ports, because otherwise I wasn't going to be able to hook up to all these drives. That's one of the reasons why I went with this ASRock board, for not only not having to worry about having picture out because of IPMI, but because I wanted to make sure I had plenty of PCI lanes. So, and then make sure it comes with a half height slot if you're going into a 2U, or vice versa. You know, network adapters. Make sure you have PCI lanes for them, because, well, you don't have PCI lanes, you're not going to be able to use them. And you need to make sure you have slots in your motherboard for everything you want to hook up. For instance, if I wanted to use this for Plex transcoding and add this ASRock Intel Arc GPU, I got a problem. I have one 16X slot in this board. So I would, yes, I have a slot for it. But I wouldn't be able to use my 10 gig card, and my LSI card would be limited to a 4X slot instead of a 16X slot. Now the problem comes from on this board is I don't have a place to hook a GPU in, my network card, and my LSI card. Now my LSI card, because of this PCI slot, 4X slot is open, I can plug this in without any sort of adapter, but I lose my 10 gig. So it's really important you understand when you're buying your motherboard that you have all of the slots you need, as well as the PCI bandwidth to support them. Because otherwise, you can't hook to all the drives, you're kind of screwed. Now eventually I may go back and get the 10 gigabit board version of this board. CPU coolers aren't really marketed for whether or not they're 2U compatible. A lot of times they are just marketed as low profile, not low profile. I ran into that with my Unraid server when I transferred it from a Fractal Design case to a Rosewill case. It fit fine in the Fractal Design case. My Be Quiet cooler did not fit in my Rosewill case, so I had to swap out the stock cooler. And that's something that's kind of easy to forget about. You know, let's say you get a high-end AMD and it comes with the big boy cooler. Well, it's not going to work on a 2U chassis. You're going to have to get a low profile one. This is just an Intel one, but you got to have a low profile cooler that will clear. And it's easy to forget about that and just go, oh, I'll just use the stock cooler. Or you get one that's right against the lid and it's not going to get good airflow. And that's really important to think about when you're speccing out your system. Now let's talk RAM. Now obviously more is better. ECC is even betterer, but does your selection support ECC? Now my long-term plan for this is to get an EPIC 404, which does support ECC memory. So I may wind up with ECC memory in this, but I may not. But let's talk capacity. Make sure your platform supports how much capacity you're putting in. Motherboard, CPU manuals, look it up. But, you know, always go with as much RAM as you can afford and will actually use. Now in my use case, Unraid doesn't use that much RAM, so 16 or 32 will do fine for me. Unraid doesn't use RAM like TrueNAS does, so I'm not real concerned about it. But what I find is honestly, the little things is what will kill a project. The little things you forget to order, the adapter, the cables, you know, not having enough SATA cables if you're cooking directly to the SATA controller on the board, which I don't recommend. You're much better off using an LSI card in IT mode than going to the board. I found board connections can be a little flaky and cause drive errors, etc. So you're better off using a dedicated controller rather than the board. Wendell at Level 1 Tech has made comments about that as well. So just something to keep in mind. Now quickly, let's talk power supplies. Now this chassis is a standard ATX power supply. It's not redundant, but if it dies and it doesn't take anything out with it, my data will still be fine. I just have to put a new power supply in it. Ultimately, you'd want redundancy, but those are expensive and generally loud. So I wouldn't recommend that unless you don't care about noise, but should be. But don't cheap out on a power supply either. This is part of your infrastructure. Don't go run out and buy that $29.99 special that may have voltage issues, etc. Buy a good power supply from reputable brands. Don't skip out is what I'm saying. It's not glamorous, but it can cost you components if you're not careful. If you're looking specifically for a case, I've got multiple case reviews of 2U and 1U chassis on the channel. Check them out. As always, thanks for watching. This is Creator Hardware.